Kill. Spirit back to four attackers now. Owen sound into the zone. Patrick McNeill centering pass broken up there by Tom Pyatt. And Jeff Weber, blocker punch to the head. And I'm going to say that's Jonathan Lahan who was in there. No, pardon me, that's Brad Richardson. Richardson, though, gave Weber a shot on the way into the net. And Jesse Gimlet's at the bottom of that pile as well. Got two Owen sound attackers on him. Weber doesn't like people in his crease. And in that instance, he gave the old waffle save to Brad Richardson.
Well, you think Weber's in Richardson's head as well. He gave him the business, and Richardson jumped up, and Richardson's not a guy that's known as a killer or anything like that. He jumped up and wanted to throw with anybody. First he was jumping at Weber, and look at this. Now the goaltender's talking, Weber and Brown.
Well, Mike Brown's had one goaltender fight in his career. They're both on their respective blue lines. Of course, it's a suspension for the player who crosses the blue line. We haven't seen any of that just yet, but they were definitely yapping with one another. Angelidis and Patrick McNeill look like they're going to go, and we'll see if that's just offsetting minors. One of them may be sitting for Weber if he picks up the penalty. 7:02 remaining in this second period. 2-1 the Saginaw Spirit lead.
That's frustration to me, Cameron. Brad Richardson goes in, his third excellent scoring chance of the game. Weber stones him again. He lays on top of Weber. Weber gives him the business. First Richardson jumps up and grabs Weber. Then he grabs Jarrett as he's falling down. So uncharacteristic for Richardson, and I think it all comes back to frustration because, again, Jeff Weber has been the story of this game.
I think that's a fair point. And for as steady and as a quiet leader as he is in the locker room, he plays a fiery game on the ice. You would have seen that in his 2+ seasons with the Plymouth Whalers.
Yeah, no question about that. You know, it was a tough decision for the Whalers last year. It was the beginning of the season, and they had a fine overage goaltender in Paul Drew, and they had to make the decision, do we want to keep this Ryan Nye kid? Do we want to keep this Jeff Weber kid? And I think, you know what, the Saginaw Spirit are happy that the Plymouth Whalers decided Ryan Nye, and I think the Plymouth Whalers are happy they decided Ryan Nye because it worked out well for both teams. But Jeff certainly is a good kid, as you mentioned, quiet kid, and he's a fine goaltender, and I think the Buffalo Sabres would agree with that.
Yeah, they drafted him, of course, in 2003, and like a lot of NHL drafted players this year, what would have been their so-called contract year, Mike Brown and any of the 85 birth year players, this is their so-called contract year, where if they're not already signed, this is the last year that a team has to evaluate them, or they become free agents again. And the NHL situation is such that they're really in limbo. They have no idea where things are going to go.
I thought perhaps Richardson would end up getting a couple extra in this, but I guess not. I thought perhaps Richardson would get a double minor here. That was my opinion, but what do I know? Maybe I'm just a Spirit homer, huh, Cameron?
We're converting you. There are going to be 4 roughing penalties here, and of course someone will serve for Jeff Weber, but that'll essentially leave it at 4 on 5 as the Saginaw Spirit have 1:48 to kill of the Jamie Clee interference call. 2-1 the Saginaw Spirit lead, 7:02 remaining in this period. And Saginaw Spirit waiting to return to full strength and push that lead up, or will it be a tie game? That's where we're at right now. Face off in the neutral zone as Patrick Jarrett comes up. Scott Fletcher will serve the 2.